Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all good? I hope so. Y'all, let's talk about Judas right quick. You know, the kiss of betrayal. So today is the day that Judas betrayed Jesus, right? So Jesus chose Judas to be one of his disciples. However, in John 13:2, the devil had already took hold of Judas. Judas betrayed Jesus and he did it for 30 pieces of silver, right? A man who walked with Jesus now, a man who saw him do many miracles, wonders, someone who Jesus loved. He was one of his closest disciples. He betrayed him. And we know during the Last Supper, Jesus told his disciples that one of them was going to betray him. In John 13:21, he said, "Truly, truly, I say to you, one of you will turn against me." It said that John was leaning against Jesus and Peter motioned to get John's attention to ask him, who is he talking about? John asked Jesus, who is he talking about? And Jesus said in John 13:26, I will dip this bread into the dish. The man I give it to is the man who will turn against me. And after Jesus said that, Judas said, surely you're not talking about me, Rabbi. And Jesus responded to Judas and said, you have said so. And once Judas ate the bread, that's when the devil entered him. And Jesus told Judas, go ahead, go on out there and do what you have to do. Because he already knew. He already knew Judas was the one who was going to betray him. And he already knew what was going to happen. So he told him, go on out there, go and get your people. All these folks that you about to go get to come and do what they finna do, go on out there and make it quick. But the disciples, they didn't understand what was going on. They thought that he was telling Judas to go out there and maybe bless somebody because, you know, Judas was the treasurer. And when Judas came back, it says in Matthew 26:47, Judas arrived with a large crowd armed with swords and clubs, and Judas had arranged a signal with them, and he told them, the one I kiss is the man, arrest him. Then he went up to Jesus and said, greetings, Rabbi. Then he kissed him. And if you go to Luke 22:22, it says, Jesus states, indeed, the Son of Man will go as it has determined, but woe to that man by whom he is betrayed. And that's interesting because this verse to me it's about the sovereignty of God, of the whole situation, how it was all planned out, because it was made to happen. It was part of God's plan for it to happen. Even though it was a horrible betrayal, sometimes those betrayals are the things that like move us up. And at the same time, it removed people from our lives, people we befriended and loved and cared for. But in order for his will to be done, there are things that God has put in place that we are not able to understand with our human mind. That's why he says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. Judas had to do what he did because that's how it was set in motion. It was set in motion for our salvation. And when you add 22 plus 22 from Luke, it gives you 8. And the biblical meaning of the number 8 is new beginnings. And I feel like his crucifixion was 2 parts. 1, to take away sin, and 2, to show how evil humans can be. How the ones you bring into your circle can betray you. How haters can lie on you and falsely accuse you of things you ain't even do. And how others will believe the lies. They will believe the lies before they come and question you about the truth. And they'll just run with it. And that just led to Jesus being unalive, even though it was going to happen anyway, because that's how God had it set up. But the thing is, he had somebody in his life who he loved, who he cared for. He was there for them. He washed his feet on the same night that he knew that this man was going to set him up. But he betrayed him and turned his back on him. And then went out like a sucker because he took himself out. That's why you see that saying going around, you don't have to call out Judas. You don't have to handle Judas. You don't have to harm Judas because he gonna do it himself. He did it himself. He couldn't even take, once he did what he had to do, he started to come back to his senses because the devil had used him for what he needed him for. And once he did it, he was no use to the devil no more. He was gone, so now he feel bad about what he did. So he took himself out. You don't have to take Judas out. Judas gonna take himself out. But that's I just thought that was interesting while I was just sitting up here thinking like, oh, wait, tomorrow's Good Friday. Like, I've been ripping and running from house to house, like my days be off. But I was just sitting there thinking about that, and I just thought that was interesting. Y'all get down in the comments, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to y'all later.